Welcome everybody to the Weft Session 1. We'll introduce characters along the way as we get our chances to. There are some tenuous links to the campaign that was run previously, but you don't have to have read those novels to understand these ones, I don't believe. So you can imagine you've gone to the cinema, ready to sit down for the start of the movie. Every movie has a big song at the start. We'll move to a scene where it's a house. There is a halfling madly dashing around, packing stuff into a bag. Clearly looking for something important, swearing. He's been involved in a heist that's gone wrong, and where he met up at the safe house, no one else was there, and he learnt for a contact that they'd all been killed. So he's raced home, packing his bag, looking for his something precious to him, and eventually, he finds it. And the camera looks at him from behind. You can't see what it is, but he holds it up with a sigh of relief, jams it into his pocket, and starts racing to the front door.
Here you are, my precious.
He gets to the front door, opens it an inch, and a familiar tingle comes from the little bauble that he's found, as if it's trying to tell him something. Does Oisin listen to it?
Of course.
Okay. He feels a slight pain in his head, but he feels this urge to slam the door shut. Does he slam the door shut?
Yes.
Okay. A moment after the door slams shut, there's these two loud thuds. And how thick's a door? Maybe an inch or two thick. These 2 points of 2 crossbow bolts come pump, pump, penetrating the door at exactly eye level for Oisin, and they stop about 2 inches from his eyes. And he thinks, "Oh no, he's onto me." He turns. He makes a run for the back of the house. Hops out the window. Dashes off into the night. And we'll find out what happens to Oisin later. "20 years earlier, we're at the house on the hill orphanage. Prudence is been there for a long time. Hasn't really actually grown up though much. Has sort of got wiser but not older physically, and still doesn't talk.
Baby Prudence.
Yeah, of course, for those who don't know, Prudence is the daughter of Adam's character from the last campaign. She started off completely as an NPC with no connection to anybody, and the story just grew, and here she is now being played as a character by Bex. But yeah, at the moment she's still as she was when she was little. No older physically and still not talking. Eventually another orphan comes to the orphanage, and he's a Harangon named Collie. And he befriends Prudence. They spend a fair bit of time together, and one day Ahmet and Alexei, Ahmet getting quite old, Alexei not aging due to his monkish background, see Collie and Prudence sitting down signing with each other. Even every now and then Prudence giggles at something that Collie signs, and Collie is a bit musically oriented, and And sometimes he'll be playing music, and Alexei and Ahmet notice Prudence humming along from time to time. A little while after that, another child comes to the orphanage, and Collie and Prudence are introduced to Rowan.
Baby.
And Rowan is a relative of Alexei, and they're told that unfortunately his parents have died. And he's come here to live with them. And they grow up together, thick as thieves, start getting a little bit older. Prudence still not talking, but signing, getting involved with things with these other guys. But one day, Collie tells him that he has to go away for a little while, which makes both Rowan and Prudence sad. And Prudence doesn't come out of her room for several days. She's a little bit grumpy, quiet, solemn at the best of times, but doesn't move. And then one day, Prudence, she has these feelings in her throat, like there's something in there ready to burst out, but she can't make it happen. And she knows that Collie is about to leave. And then one morning, she hears some music being played. She
Cute.
sees out the window Collie standing there with his guitar. And he starts singing to her. And she can see Rowan and Alexei and Ahmet are outside. And Collie has his backpack over his back as he's playing. And he looks through the window at Prudence as she pulls the curtains aside and looks through. So she sneaks up and looks out the window. Does she go outside to speak to him? Or to see him, sorry.
Kick out the door first.
And you see Ahmet beckon her outside. And she says, are you going to say goodbye to Collie?
And he's like a little kind of squeaky, sort of croaky voice because it's never been used. He just goes, I'll miss you.
And he leans down and gives her a big furry hug. And she knows in her heart that she's going to see him again. He says, hey, little one, you don't grow up too big before I get back. And he wanders off. Does Rowan do anything before he wanders off?
Rowan would just wave, holding onto Alexei's leg.
He just gives you a bit of finger guns, and he wanders off and disappears. He returns a few years later, and he's all grown up. Now, Rowan and Prudence, if you right-click on your tokens, you should see there's a
Multi-sided?
Rowan grows up as well, is a teenager. And again, they kind of live around the orphanage without really needing to anymore. But again, they get into their own little things. When they're about 12 or 13, they again disappear off in their own ways. They hear several years later that Collie is ill and that they maybe should go and visit him. He's had an affliction that makes him age fast, so it appears that it's beginning to overcome him. So they meet up as grown-ups at the house. Ahmet is getting older, of course. There's a whole bunch of different kids there. Rowan's a big boy now. And they head off to a town called Piverton, where Collie had gone to retire to. Now, Rowan is, probably the first time out in the world by himself since completing his studies. Excited, can't wait to see the world. Of course, him and Prudence, who are almost like brother and sister, are travelling for a bit of a somber reason, but he can't help but be all excited. However, on the travels, Prudence can't help but think they're being watched. So, as they travel along with Rowan's exuberance, what are they discussing?
Probably just what they've been up to.
Yeah, Rowan would tell Prudence about his studies and everything he'd learnt and all about the church that he's been a part of. All about his friends there, or friend Gideon.
What about Prudence? Has she got anything to tell?
She'll just be telling him about all of her travels, because she is well travelled she's been travelling with the Looper merchants
Yep.
for the last 10 or so years. So she sailed under Scampy, and then she sailed under Drooly. Been everywhere, man. She's been everywhere. So she'll be telling him all about that.
I'm going to let you guys do something as characters, because you kind of grew up together and you're brother and sister-ish, without being too nasty to each other. Any memories you bring up about each other from your childhood are going to be canon.
Perfect.
All right?
Remember that time you peed your pants? Like, in front of everybody? That time we were doing singing?
I swear if you bring that up again, I will hit you. I've learned how to use this as Rowan holds out his spear. Don't make me use it on you.
Prudence will pull out a whip and be like, try me, priest boy. Try me.
I'm so much more than a priest. I'm an acolyte and vassal of the Glass Dragon, okay?
I'm an acolyte.
As you guys are talking, you head up to a junction up ahead.
Now, which way was it? Right or left to Piverton?
You
I
see a
don't know. I
Piverton
thought
sign.
you-
What's the sign saying?
Well, it says Piverton, but it's broken and it's lying on the ground.
Would I have had a map?
Not really, no. It's been following your directions. Terry, Oishin was at this crossroad. He'd been having a rest, and he heard two dumbasses arguing coming down the path, making a whole bunch of noise. He's, if you look, hiding in the trees over here. He just took cover. His first instinct is to do what he's always done to potential people to try it on with. But then he remembers his mum's advice.
He'll ride out confidently from the trees and then stop. Then sort of less confidently advance. He goes, "Top of the morning to you."
Where'd you come from?
I was just travelling down the road on my way to Piverton, trying to meet my family.
Perfect. That's where we're going to.
Perfect. Do you happen to know the way? Because this sign is
Oh, it's
really
been-
busted.
In a few years, but I should remember it. Details should become clearer as we get closer.
Yeah, Oishin's been there a few times before, but like I say, not for a while. He knows it's to the south.
We're actually heading the wrong way. We need to go south.
South? Okay. Perfect.
Well,
I'm
if you just
Rowan, by
don't
the
hit
way, and I'll hold out a hand.
The name's O'Sheen.
Pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
And that over there is a Prudence.
The awkward way.
Nice to meet you there, the fine Prudence.
Hi.
We'll leave those guys there for now. Some time ago. Here, if you look in the top left corner, there is a couple of figures. One is a large silver dragon, and one is a small cloaked figure with a long black beak pointing out from the cloak. The dragon looks down and says, "I have taught you all I can, my dear. I will now fly you to the nearest port, but from then, it's for you to find what you seek yourself. Are you ready?"
I am ready, Mother. You taught me well.
Hop on, and we will go.
Begin my adventure.
And May hops on Airgitter's back, and Airgitter flies off into the sky, through the clouds, and lands at a port. Could be somewhere like Fleck, even. May, feeling confused, has this urge to head south. She gets passage on a ship, travels along, and then eventually makes landfall and feels a compulsion to keep walking, keep travelling. She travels for an undetermined amount of time, through forests, through rivers, up mountains. Eventually, feeling tired, she finds herself on top of this small hill, and in the distance she can see the tip of a tree in the distance, seeming quite far away. She sleeps on the top of this hill, and as she does, she dreams that she's getting closer to what she seeks. She awakens to a storm crashing around her. She's about to make her way down the hill to get out of the weather, where all of a sudden there's a cracking noise, and the ground below her cracks away, and she falls and starts tumbling through the air. But she doesn't feel scared. When she feels like she's getting close to the ground, she feels herself float down and land in a bed of feathers, and she feels like she's exactly where she should be. We had the three of you standing there talking, and all of a sudden there's this crackle of lightning and everything goes dark, and then there's this flash of light, and you hear this like whirling sound, and then all of a sudden from the sky plummets this figure, and it just goes thump on the ground right in the middle of you guys and lies there still.
Oh my god.
Am I
you okay?
conscious or?
Nope, you're unconscious.
What the fuck?
So I like to think, in May's mind, it would have like all this falling down gently into a bed of feathers, and then it would have swung back to reality, and it would have been bump, and she smacked onto the ground, and a few feathers would pump up into the air.
I'll immediately cast Spare the Dying, just in case.
Okay.
Yeah, Prudence will like immediately kneel down and sort of gently try and shake her awake.
She doesn't come away.
Is there, like, if we look around, is there any sign of like where she came from?
She seemed to have fallen from the sky.
Yeah, then there's nothing that would have been carrying her in the sky, or it's just clear
Nope.
skies.
Just clear sky.
Oh my god.
She starts convulsing a little bit.
Oh my god. Okay.
What do we do, Prudence?
Don't ask
You're
me.
the adult.
Adult-ish. Oh, can I cast Healing Hands on her?
You can try.
I will do that.
Okay, it doesn't seem to work.
Oh. Oh, what
And
do we do?
you see this figure whose hood slipped back, and it looks like it's a humanoid with a bird-like head. It's lying there with its eyes closed. And as Prudence says, "What do we do?" We might swing away.
When?
Someone.
And we see an elvish woman in a magical looking glade, standing next to a motionless humanoid body, lying still on a makeshift bed. Has pale skin and seems to be lying there peacefully and timelessly. The elf woman looks down with a look of wistful sorrow and strokes some hair away from the figure's eye, sits next to him, continues to do this sort of thing. How does Lyriel appear?
She's almost meditative at this point, right? She's just there and meditating, trying to get her in a calm.
The figure lying there is not breathing. As the elf sits there, the ground starts to shake a little, and she frowns as if this is something that is unexpected and maybe has never even happened before. Starts to be a cracking sound, and this elf woman sees this rift next to her appear, and through it she can see some figures standing there, 3 of them, around a motionless body, and they look like they're panicking, unsure what to do. And Lyriel hears a voice in her head say, "You must go, my love. We've had our forever."
I start to panic, and I look there, and I look at the person that obviously needs help. And then I sigh, close my eyes, and turn around and step through the portal.
Lyriel feels this collapsing behind her as her surroundings disappear. She appears in this, to her, like not a pleasant place. It looks drab, it looks almost lifeless. There's all this, what she would consider as debris and detritus all over the ground. And it takes her a moment to be comfortable with even standing on it. And she sees this motionless...
Discombobulated right now, just... Oh, okay. Where am I? Where am I?
You guys see this, this elvish woman. Does anyone speak Elvish?
Ocean does.
Can you just give me a history roll?
First roll.
There we go.
Roll the campaign.
This elf woman's clothing, it looks like she's like cosplaying the pictures you've seen of elves from history from hundreds and hundreds of years ago. It looks like, she's got a costume on from a museum or something like that.
First off, Ocean's like, what's this today? There's people appearing from everywhere. This one's dressed up. That is from the past.
Lyra, you
Elvish, because that's probably all I have been speaking for a while.
Was Orshin speaking in common?
Yeah, you was common on that bit, so that was addressed to
the others.
Okay,
there, yeah.
So then I would know. As I step forward, I'm going to take a hopeful look back and see if the rift is still there behind me.
Nothing there at all. Lyriel can't understand what these people are saying.
Walk forward and just like, is something wrong with your friend? Do they need assistance?
She says something in Elvish.
Yeah, recognizing the language, Ocean will try and switch to it and go. Like you, it's just like appears. She fell from the sky and we can't revive her. Fell from the sky. Seems to be hurting.
You can't revive them. Did you attempt a healing spell?
Yes.
And it didn't work.
Oh.
Just make another history check for me, please, Terry. Or Sheen. So again, even though you're both speaking Elvish, you have to think about what you're saying, because it's like you're speaking different dialects or with different accents. It's like this woman is speaking Old Elvish. After a few sentences, it all starts to click into place, and you can start to understand each other better, both with Elvish and Common. Lyriel, you can see this motionless humanoid lying on the ground in front of you.
Can I do a medicine check to see if I can just see anything wrong with them?
Go ahead and make a medicine check.
Well, this is a great start.
Like you reach down and you look at this and you think, like, what even is this thing? It's some sort of bird humanoid. You know, you've not even seen one before. With a 9, you can feel it's breathing, but it's just unconscious and it seems to be, in some sort of distress. It's got a few, feathers and wings and bits out of place, and maybe some of it's been healed up. The others would know that Prudence cast a spell, didn't seem to have any effect.
Tried and it did nothing.
Yeah,
Ocean, how far is Piverton?
It's way down the road to the south. Not far.
Far enough that we could carry her? Would there be someone there that could help?
It's still a fair distance to the town. You're still, probably several hours away. Still above, there's this ominous clouds and so forth that seem to have come out of nowhere as well. Has anyone noticed anything else going on?
I noticed the map flipped around.
Flipped around.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
the other
the
way
signs
before.
used to be
That's
here.
fine.
Sign gone.
That's okay.
Is the sign gone?
It's
Or?
Still there. It's just
No,
up
it's
here.
moved. It's on the opposite
Signs
side.
moved.
Well, you guys probably walked a little bit. We probably
Yeah.
did a little.
Yeah.
You're not sure. You look at it and you think, wasn't that sign there? But then you're looking and clearly it's not. It's over there.
Oh.
You sure
But the
it's
roads are
still south to the town?
The roads are still going in the same directions as they appear to have before. You don't wonder whether there's maybe a few more trees around than there was before as well.
Do we notice that? Did we
Yeah,
actually?
yeah. This figure on the ground starts murmuring a little.
What's she murmuring? Is it words? Or just...
No, just like you can see that it's clearly alive, but just appears to be unconscious at the moment.
I'll like kneel down and like pick her head up and like hold her head on my lap and kind of like stroke her beak or like her forehead and stuff and like in like a comforting way.
Just give me a medicine check.
If I
I'll
let's
give
say,
guidance.
catch worms.
Guidance.
So the figure seems to relax a little in Prudence's arms, but is still unconscious.
How about we get her off to the side of the road? Just under some shade. Wait for her to
Yeah,
wake
that's
up.
probably a good idea.
So you do that.
Well,
You move her across the road, and
It's fine.
you wait for a while, and eventually, she wakes up. May, you look up, and it's almost like a bird being born, and you see this figure of Prudence looking down at May, and you feel like she's the most beautiful thing in the world.
She's gonna open her eyes and be like, "Mother?"
No.
You can't help but feel a little bit of electric spark between you as you wake up.
Do I feel it too?
Yeah, both of you do. Yeah.
Oh.
Where am I? What happened?
And at first, May, you can't even say words. Like you see this creature just going "Wah, wah, 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 wah," like a bird on the ground, and eventually like shakes her head, and then like starts able to get some words out like slowly.
Lyriel's just sort of standing back a bit now, just giving all this like the wide eye because she'd never seen anything like this. It's kind of all.
And May, you got this fascination with Prudence.
She's gonna do that kind of,
Okay,
when like a crow looks at you, like how they kind of turn their head sideways.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that, looking at her, just like kind of get a better view.
Prudence will just like sort of like is she still like laying down or is she hopped up?
Still laying down, yeah, at the moment. Her beak was looking up at you, and then like her head turned sideways, and you can see this one eye looking up at you.
Oh,
You will notice about Mai, she has one yellow eye and one blue eye.
ooh.
Wow.
I'll just look down at her and say, what's the last thing you remember?
So I fell asleep on a hill and I had this horrible dream. And then I was falling. And then I was here.
Prudence will look up at Rowan and be like, what do I do?
Yeah. I guess we can take her with us to the town.
I'm not going anywhere in particular. I can come with you.
You definitely feel like following Prudence, May.
Yes.
Sure, you can come with us. We're just going to a town. What's your name?
My
Okay,
name is
so May-
I'm Prudence. This is Rowan. And this is Ocean.
Sheen. I didn't fail him. Nice to meet you, man.
Ocean like the water?
If you like. Whatever works for you.
And this is
I'm gonna
well,
look over my shoulder and go, well, and I'll be trying to speak common, so I'll be like they're common, so I'll be a little slower. I'll be like, I don't think I can return where I came right now. So could I accompany you? I don't seem to know where I am at this point.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
the
Of course you
area.
can.
Lyriel also feels disconcerted because normally, I think I spoke to you about how she could sense the presence of the thing she grew up on. She gets the faintest hint of that, but it appears to be almost like it's in the ground.
I'm very puzzled right now. I'm feeling okay.
So that just makes her feel even more disconcerted. It's in the ground in the direction that these people are traveling.
The south, it's southish somewhere. Is it very faint? So I know it's like this is a fair distance away.
It does. It feels really faint. When I say under the ground, it's not like pointing straight downwards. If you pointed at the horizon, went down 10 or 20 degrees, it's kind of like that.
And my name was Lyriel too, by the way.
Terry, make a history check, and Prudence, you can make one at disadvantage. Or Sheen, when this woman says her name is Lyriel, you immediately recognise the name from like Elvish folklore. The name is a famous Elvish name from an ancient love story. Prudence, you know the name because Arnie Max wrote a love story about Lyriel.
Oh. That it's just a name though. Could just be a name, right?
Could be.
I'm sure if it's famous, there's lots of women who probably name their kids Lyriel.
If it's a famous
Yeah,
love
you know.
story.
There's lots of people called
Yeah.
Madonna, but if I say Madonna,
It's Madonna, yeah, okay. Would I put two and two together, like with the clothes and all that sort of stuff?
it looks like someone's dressed up as this, you know.
I'm more inclined to think I'm a bit of a crazy woman who just stepped out dressed as a character.
Yeah.
from a-
Lyriel,
from a
like-
TV original.
Like from the story, is that what you're dressed as? Are you going to a costume party? Do you,
Lyriel just looks confused, like, because she wouldn't know any of this, right? What?
Ocean's just standing there frowning and stroking his beard.
you know the story
Okay.
about Lyriel and her lover?
She looks a bit taken aback about that.
You know the lover's name was Elidor? Did I get that right?
Alien. But it probably got
Yeah.
butchered over the years. They probably have it wrong.
Yeah,
No, I
there you
heard
go.
it was Dennis.
It
Oh,
probably,
yeah.
It's probably George by now.
Right.
Handsome Pete.
That's a big.
It's just like this kind of weird moment. And as you're standing there pondering this, all of a sudden there's another crackle, and you don't see it just appear, but you all of a sudden just know that there's something there to the northeast. And it's this robed figure with grey skin.
What is it?
And-
Just appearing out of nowhere today.
Another friend.
It pulls up its cloak, and it stares at one of you. Taking your tokens and roll for initiative.
Gasp.
This figure is just standing there, staring at you guys at the moment. May, what are you going to do?
May is going to step mainly between Prudence and the figure, and then she's going to raise her staff and she's going to say, "Who are you and what do you want?" If it attacks, I will cast Sorcerer's Burst.
Prudence.
Given that it's literally the third thing to randomly show up, and the other two things that randomly showed up were fine, she's also going to assume best because she does. And she's going to sort of say, "Oh, another one. And what's your name?"
Rowan.
Rowan will start walking up, And offer, go for a handshake. Bye. I'm Rowan. Nice to meet you. We've sort of got this all under control, but
It's Alexi all over again.
what brings you this way?
Okay,
Unless
so
I
this
can do some
thing,
sort of like insight check on it.
you can make an insight check, sure. If that's your action, you can do that.
Sure. See how sinister he is. Oh, it is 18.
As you get closer, you see the way that this thing moves. It doesn't look natural. It looks like it's some sort of humanoid, but something's happened to it, and you can't work out what. And as you're looking at it, it stares at Rowan, and you see its eyes glow. So give me a Constitution saving throw.
Ooh, that's a 5.
All right. So you see Rowan go up to this thing, and it just stares at him and looks at him, and Rowan takes 14 necrotic damage.
Holy Jesus!
Right, does
So-
Rowan have 14 hit points? Oh,
So Rowan just drops to the ground.
Can I constitute that as an attack and attack back?
You go, shit, and you go, poof, and you can let off your sorcerer's burst, yeah?
Okay.
Or you go, ah!
And it's going to be ice.
Fuck!
Back.
19, you plant the sorcerer's burst right into it. Okay, and you see this thing freeze a little, but it's still going.
She's going to
It
say,
turns
back off
towards you.
him. Now.
Lyriel.
Okay, well, I'm going to see that, and my eyes are going to go really wide. I'm going to target that guy. I'm going to cast Guiding Bolt on his butt. 20, 10 damage.
Your guiding bolt hits this guy square in the chest and drops him. Poof. Who's next? Orshin. Orshin is about to do something, and he sees some movement from behind, and he sees another one of these guys standing to the west. Didn't appear to walk up or anything like that. He's just there.
Alright, he'll just yell out to the other guys. Another one behind! And I'm gonna hurl a chromatic orb at this thing.
14 hits. 6
3 dice.
acid damage. May can see just to the north behind this sign another one.
May's going to say, I think we need to get out of here quickly. And then she is going to move over to Roan. And she is going to use a charge of her healer's kit to stabilize him. The healer's feat, I'll give him some hit points. So
You need to make a medicine roll to do that. How many hits does he get back with that?
you get 1 hit dice plus 2.
4.
She is going to say, are you okay? Let's go. And she's going to try and help him to his feet. She's not too strong, but she's going to try.
Prudence.
So she'll look over and see that Mai's helping Rowan because that's her first concern. And then she'll run towards this one and hit my rapier. Oh my god. Are you fucking real? And we give it a best. And then I'll go.
It's just a little scared. First real battle.
You
And then
got
she'll
that?
go. And she'll go,
What's your
okay,
hit?
we're running.
Standing up,
At
using
the-
half my movement. 15 feet with the rest of my movement. As a bonus action, I will activate my innate sorcery. Rowan starts to glow with energy, and down his forearms, some scaly skin starts appearing.
Does
And
May recognize that as draconic magic?
And what's her passive arcana?
So 12.
She does.
Kind of a kindred spirit now. She likes that.
As an action, I'll cast True Strike, throwing my spear at the one
Okay.
next to Max. So it would usually
Be right back, guys.
advantage, but I have advantage because of the innate sorcery. That's 19 to hit,
Hits it.
7 radiant damage.
Rowan drops him right next to you. Prudence. This one up here steps forward like this and stares at Orshin. Give me a constitution check for Orshin, please. Orshin takes 13 necrotic damage. Drops to the ground. Lyriel.
I'm gonna see Oshin go down, and then that Rowan is still injured. And at that point, I'm gonna be like, "Oh damn!" and cast Healing Word. I'll do it to Oshin. It takes 9 hit.
So this thing stared at you, and the corruption in your soul made you fall to the ground, but this light shone upon you and healed you back up. And Terry, that's just like Lyriel did in the stories about her as well, that sort of thing. She could heal people.
So I'm gonna cast Toll the Dead on that guy.
Oh, nat 20 for the save for this guy.
Damn, that did save. So yeah, he doesn't take anything.
Or she. You've woken up on the ground.
And what was that?
The fuck was that?
Where?
The fuck was that?
I've seen little leprechaun.
And I'll give it another bash. I'll try and chromatic orb that guy. 14 again.
14 to hit.
12
Oh.
acid damage.
You burn this thing away with the acid, and it drops to the ground.
And I'm gonna go. And that's what you get. You
And-
don't mess with a family.
And then as you look around, the bodies disappear.
Yeah, you better run.
Frustrating.
What was that?
I don't know, but I suggest we get out of here before they come back. This place seems to spawn people.
You okay? Shoot, what? Prudence will say to Rowan.
Yeah, no, it just really caught me off guard. As he'll say, is just walking over to pick up his spear. Ugh. At least I
God.
got one.
Yeah, and you got yourself knocked out in the process.
Yeah.
Does
He
anybody
walks up
know
and shakes a
who
stranger's hand.
or what they were?
To be fair, they were all strangers when we met them. They didn't try and kill me. And no, we have no.
It was
no
unconscious
clue what they
for the
were.
record.
Heck, you never trust those greyskins.
Did they look like they were after anyone in particular?
Nope. Well, one of them stared at you when you walked up to him, and another one stared at Orshin. Just
But they didn't say anything to anyone, right? They didn't
No.
speak word.
didn't say a word. No.
Which I want to say is
They-
pretty rude.
They did move in strange ways, almost disjointed the way that they moved. Like when you move, if you move your body, it goes through a series of movements. It's almost like they skipped some of the movements as they moved.
Like where Neo moved in the
Yeah.
Matrix? Like that?
Or
Yeah,
a
something
wing
weird like
where
that.
you're like, yeah.
It's like it's been sampled, their movement, on a slow sample. And yeah, it's like, cut.
Was it more like mechanical in their movement, or more like it was magical that they were skipping frames?
Magical of some sort, you would think. They were flesh and blood.
It would have been
It
pretty
seemed like that.
obvious they weren't entirely human. One of the regular species that we have.
Possibly
Really.
it was human or something similar, but they didn't appear to be that anymore.
Suffering from buffering.
Suffering from buffering, that's it. Exactly right.
They got bad lag. Somewhere in outback Australia with dial-up.
Without further ado, you continue on. Does anyone have any further questions for anybody else?
May would like to ask
Pardon?
Rowan if he was hatched by a dragon too.
No, I have had human parents.
But you have
they-
the power of the dragon in you. I saw it.
Well, that's not really in me, so to say. It's more in this, and he'll show the spear. I am a vassal for the glass dragon.
Maya's gonna pull up her robe, and she's gonna show like where her black feathers are. There's like some crystal like dragon scales along parts of her arm, like in patches. I was blessed by a dragon too. My mother.
Then we have something in common. That's wonderful.
We do.
Also, Prudence, when Rowan started talking about I'm a vassal, she'll be in the background going, I'm a vassal. I'm a vassal.
Guys, stop bullying me.
Which way are we walking? Because it was south,
South.
but now the sign's there, so would it now be...
Orshin's still pretty sure that it's south. You head off in that direction, and after a few hours' travel, you reach Piverton. So you guys enter from the west. Piverton's a town of probably just over 1,000 people.
It's a good size.
It sprung up as just like a little typical crossroad town, but became known as like a fertile area. So it's become quite a little prosperous farming community. Orsheen, you're on your way here for your reasons. Prudence and Rowan are on their way here for their reasons as well.
Do we know where Collie lives?
Nope.
Okay, we just know that he's in this town somewhere.
Terry, it looks familiar enough to you. You know where you're heading. It's midday when you rock up into town.
Machine just say to the others, goes, "Oh, that he's got business in town," and we'll part ways.
No, it was a pleasure meeting you, Ocean.
Thanks for showing us the way to Piverton.
Orsheen, when his bauble does something, it's almost like a clock ringing. He feels that ringing. Does he listen to it?
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay, so just give me a wisdom saving throw, please. So he listens to it, and he actually takes 1 psychic damage. He gets an urge to bring these people with him.
Finding an excuse, he'll just suggest to the others, actually know a place in town where you can stay that won't cost you any money. If you'd like to accompany me. Let's go.
Oh, where is this place?
Yeah, that sounds dodgy.
Man, me da. Live in the town.
Ah, well, that's fine then. It's your parents.
I got a bad feeling about the tavern. Let's just go to me odds.
And you rock up to this house. There's lots of different houses here. This one looks like it's the same size as some of the bigger houses around, but when you get up, everything about it is miniature. Like, it's got a little doorway, and the garden at the front's all small. And
Perfectly proportioned.
Do we all fit in the house?
oh yeah, you can bend down to get in.
It's
But at the
basically like
moment-
Gandalf in the Hobbit house.
Yeah, that's right.
I
Yeah.
was just going to say
Okay.
that. Great movie
You're
reference.
Yeah, Ocean will knock on the door.
You knocked to go in your mom and dad's house?
I haven't been
and
here
he-
for years.
Have you got names for your parents?
Kevin and
Karen
Karen.
Karen and Kevin. Kevin, get the door! Get the door! I'm going to do some sort of Irish action for him. Kevin, get the door! And then we, I don't know, fucking do. That's canon now, you can't understand. And like he comes over to, he comes over and over to the, it's like in Charlie Brown when like his parents speak.
Oh god.
This like grumpy looking halfling opens the door, and then he just looks up and goes, "Gate I can't buy." He goes, "Oh!" He gets pushed out the way, and this little halfling old woman comes bundling out, and I says, "Oh, my boy, oh, it's me boy," and grabs him and gives him a hug. She says, "Are you all right, lad? Are you all right? I heard what happened."
I'll get over it, ma. But for now, you have a shite.
She gives him this big smack on the face. She
What
don't
was that
you,
for?
you never bloody listen, do you? Now get inside.
No,
What's going on with these biggins here?
I had a premonition that the inn's not safe, so I brought them home. I hope you don't mind.
They'll have to sleep on the floor when none of the beds are big enough for them lot. Come on inside.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Uriel goes, look at this one, ma. This one dresses up like it's the olden times.
Oh, bless me, look at it. Well, top
Yeah,
of the
that's
morning to
it.
you. And he takes it. And she says, "That's right." As you come into the hut, there is this amazing smell of food. Some sort of stew, potatoes. She serves up a hearty meal, asks you all what you're doing in town.
So we're actually here to see our friend. We don't know exactly where he lives. You might actually be able to help. His name's Collie.
Oh, Collie, yes, we know where he lives. And then she frowns, she goes, "Oh, He's very sick though, love. What?
Yeah. Yeah, we
Yeah.
know. That's why we're here.
We grew up with him at the orphanage.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, I don't know anything about that, but yes, now, well, he lives in the, you can find him in a little hut over there. Yes, he lives there with his family. There's quite a few of them.
Yes, wow.
A Catholic.
Yeah.
It must be.
Good Catholic
Brother.
rabbits. And yes, yeah, he's just on the next street over there.
Should we go there now?
I
Well, yeah,
think
you
that's a
just-
good idea.
I just gave you this massive meal, and they said, well, that's afternoon tea, so you're welcome to come back for dinner if you like.
Oh, thank you so
And-
much.
and
Yeah, we're
stay.
gonna go see our
well-
friend, and then
We'll see if we can get like two or three beds and push them together and make some cots up for you lot. Oh, it's good to see you, lad.
I do have a bedroll I could put down, if that helps.
Oh no, don't worry. You keep that rolled up. Never you mind.
There's plenty of spare beds. We used to be a large family.
Yeah, Rowan just starts like walking back out slowly.
Prudence holds on to him and is like, yep, let's go.
You can see Collie's hut on the map there.
That's where
We'll head over there.
Prudence and Rowan would go.
Maya's following you guys. She's not saying anything, but she is following.
Terry, your mum says, well, you take him over there. You know where Dasher's Lane is. You show him the way.
They can take themselves. They don't need me.
Oh, you better show him. Get out of here.
Oh,
That way I can get things set up in here.
fine,
I don't
fine,
want you
fine.
around the place. Oh, yeah, that's right. You listen to your mum.
Lyria
She
is
went to
gonna
Mara
thank
and Pa.
them very much for the meal as we leave, and then like, it's nice, enjoyable.
Thank you so much.
He looks you up and down, Lyra, and she says, well, you're welcome there, fancy lady. That's,
very polite.
some sort of get up you got on there, isn't it?
Look down at my armor, just like it's on.
And you did get a few looks walking into town from people, passers by.
I don't suppose they'd have Ren fairs, would they? It is Ren. It is Ren.
Red fair
Yeah.
instead.
They just have fairs.
It's have fairs, yeah.
As you're talking, you get outside this hut and you can see it's a tiny little hut. And she mentioned that he's got quite a big family.
Knock on the door.
You can hear all this, it sounds like noise inside, but it sounds muffled in some way or distant. And there's no answer. And as you knock, the door swings open a little bit.
Poke my head in.
It's this tiny little hut, and you open up and you can see there's a hole in the ground with a ladder going down.
I'm like, oh, of course. Yes, we're going down. And I'll start climbing down the ladder.
You hear this like noise from downside, and at first it sounds like screaming, but then like you hear laughing and stuff like that. And you climb down and just climb straight down into the hut, and these Harangon turn around and just like look at you. They're all jumping around doing stuff. There's a couple of adults, and there's all these kids jumping around. All these,
How
like,
many kids are we talking?
There's 5 kids, ranging from one that looks like it could be a teenager-ish, down to, you can see this small little one wearing a nappy, bouncing around on the ground, falling over.
Little bunny.
What appears to be a female adult Harangon spins around and goes, oh!
I'll say, oh, it's so nice to meet you. My name is Prudence, and this is Rowan. We're really good friends of Collie's.
You've had letters from Collie and stuff, and you think that this might be his wife, Madge.
You must be Madge. I'm sure he's mentioned us.
She's, oh, and then you hear this weak voice from further into the burrow say, is it, and she's, oh, you must be, oh yes, you must be Prudence, and she looks around, and Rowan, but, and she looks around at the rest of these extra people, and then you hear this like, let them in, and she goes, sure. All these kids sort of kind of stand back and start looking at you guys in amazement, and they just all stop making noise all of a sudden. And you can see there's this female Harangon running around like a rabbit, taking care of things. There's this other male Harangon just like sitting on this chair in the corner, sort of just rocking back and forth. Looks a bit distracted from it all. In the back, you can see this room where there's a bed, and you can see Collie lying in the bed.
Go up
Hey,
and
Ollie.
like kneel by the bed.
He goes, "Oh, come, Rowan, take my hand."
I'll take his hand.
You take his hand, and his like hand falls off, and like you see, he goes, and all the kids are at the
Jesus
door,
Christ.
and like he pulls his hand out from the sleeve. He goes, "Nah, I got you."
For a moment there, I thought he was
And then
a
he's like-
different kind of leper.
And then he starts going, coughing. Oh, it's good
It's
to
not
see
funny.
you too.
Haven't
Ah.
changed a bit.
I like this one.
I see you brought some friends as well.
They're more just random people we ran into on the way here. They helped us get here. We got a bit lost.
He just stares at you, Rowan, and he strokes your face with this still soft rabbit paw, but you can feel it's all bony underneath. And he says, "They never told you, did they?"
Told me what and who.
And he goes, "And look at you, Prudence. All grown up, all speaking. I bet you never shut up now, do you?"
Oh,
Ah.
I do.
Well, we should catch up tomorrow and do lunch, shouldn't we? Like old
Yeah.
times.
Just like old times.
Madge comes over and goes, "Yeah, I think you need to sleep now, Collie." And she looks at you guys with a bit of a worried look. He rolls over and he goes, "They never told you, did they, Rowan?"
Yeah, he'll just look at him confused as he's leaving.
"They never told you about your parents, did they?"
Or I never really knew them.
He yawns and he goes, "They're not dead." And he nods off to sleep.
He's very confused. He's not sure if this is another prank or just a cruel trick he's caught playing on him in
And
his old age.
and Madge says, "Would you guys like some tea?"
That would
Yes,
be nice.
please.
She gives you all some tea and she explains that, yeah, he's really sick now. You see all these kids are sitting around looking at you guys as you talk. There's these two almost teenage female rabbit and a younger one, maybe at 10, and they're like whispering. They're looking at you, Lyriel. They're going, "It's you, isn't it? You're her, aren't you?"
Who? I'm not sure what you mean.
Then this little baby rabbit comes over. She's like, must be the equivalent of 2 or 3. She goes, "My name's Itsy. Can I feel your hair?"
I
Yeah,
lean down.
can I feel
and
your
let her,
hair?
Like touch my bread.
The others are laughing and she feels some Lyriel's hair. And she's, "Oh, wow. It's like glitter." And she looks at it. And then she skips back to others and they start giggling. You talk with Madge for a while. The other guy's Uncle Barry, and he's Madge's brother. He's old and not quite with it himself. Just helps around the house. And then all the kids. She says, "Look, you're welcome to come back tomorrow. Yeah, head back to Orsheen's house for dinner and supper and then dessert and then late night food after that. Not off to sleep. In the morning, there's a knock at the door at Orsheen's parents' house. Karen shouts, "Go get it, Kevin, would you?" And he's like, "Right, yeah. But Orsheen, you're not far from the front door.
Ready, Pa. I get it for you.
"Oh, yeah, come back." You go up the door and you can see one of Collie's children's there, and it's his oldest child, this boy. He's like got his hat in his hands and he's crunching it together, and he's just like kind of staring up at. Or no, he's not. He's looking up and then looks down and he sees Orsheen there.
I'll soon just yell back into Rowan and Prudence and go, "What are Collie's children? I suppose they're here for you."
It's his oldest child, Bumps.
It's Bumps. Hello, Bumps.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Rowan will
Yeah,
get
we'll
to the
call,
door.
call out to
Come to the
Rowan.
door.
I thought we were going to have lunch later. What are you doing here so early?
It looks like he's just holding it together, and he goes, "Oh, Dad passed away last night.
Sorry.
I just wanted to let you know."
Thank you.
So
And he just
sorry.
like kind of nods and hops away. There's a funeral a few days later. You kind of just like around the town, not really knowing what to do. You kind of help out with Madge a little bit. Terry, your parents have cooked like so much food and keep getting you to send it over to their house and that sort of thing. And then there's this funeral. It all gets done and finishes. Madge offers you to come back to her burrow for a bit of a wake. Terry, your mum says, "Oh, I don't think you should. I think you should just leave them be." But you get this ringing in your bauble. Do you listen to it?
Yes.
Give me a wisdom saving throw. Take 2 psychic damage. So you guys see Orshin like, oh, and I like hold his head a little bit, and then he just shakes it, and he's okay.
Oh, wow. Hey. Oh.
Orshin gets his feeling that it's almost like a vision ahead, and he gets an urge that it's important that it happens, and that's all of you down in the burrow with Madge and the kids.
I think I should go, Mammy. I need to be with him.
Okay, just give me a persuasion roll. Seems like your mum's about to say something, and your dad goes, and she goes, "Oh, it's all right, Kevin. He's a big little boy now, isn't he?" And she like straightens up your shirt and does up your collar properly and neatens you up and says, "All right, well, you'll be home early, all right?"
I know what they're going through. I think I can help.
She just like pauses and nods and says, "All right, well, you'll be a good boy." And she looks at you guys and goes, "And you lot look after him. Come on, let's go, Kevin." Does anyone have any skills that might give them astronomy as an ability?
I've got navigators.
Do you want to just make a navigator roll at advantage for me? As you're walking, it's early evening, and you see this new star in the sky that you do not remember being there.
I'll just say, that's weird.
You're walking along with this group, and Madge says, "Oh, what's that? What are you talking about?"
That star that never used to be there before.
She looks up, and a few of the kids look up as well. They go, "Oh, didn't it?"
No.
I mean,
And you stand there looking at it for a while, and it's just there. Oh, hop down this burrow. You see, she has to talk to Uncle Berry, the old guy there, and he pulls out this old bottle of scotch and hands it around. You all have a drink. All of a sudden, Orshin gets this massive, huge feeling of dread, and before he can do anything, there's what feels like a huge impact, and the ground shakes and dirt starts falling from the roof, and the entrance to the burrow, a whole bunch of stuff just starts collapsing and falling down inside it. The kids will start screaming and running around, and the ground shakes for maybe about 30 seconds and then slowly dies down. And from above the hole of the burrow, where you can see a bit of moonlight still beginning to trickle down, even though some stuff has collapsed, you slowly start to hear moans and screams of pain from above. And that's where we'll leave the first session.
God.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.